Welcome to our Lagos studio. My name is Daniel Praise Osedebame, and of course, we'll be looking at the vision of the governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, for Edo people. As we all know, he has already hit the ground running. Some persons have already said that this is just an initial move just to get the attention of people, and not forgetting that we still have some litigation in court from the PDP. But however, before we go on, let's quickly go listen to his inaugural speech.
Today, you are officially giving me the mandate to preside over our dear state as governor for the next 4 years. We will not betray this confidence you have imposed in me and the deputy governor. The welfare of our citizens is a top priority for us. To achieve this, we shall implement programs carefully outlined in my 5-point agenda, designed to grow a robust economic growth and improve the lives of our people. The deplorable condition of our roads has made it difficult for people to move from one part of the state to another.
All right, you just heard the governor, His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebholo. Now, joining us to unpack the vision for Edo under his leadership is Dr. Tony, for ease of pronunciation, Dr. Tony Agbons. He's a seasoned global expert. He's an analyst. He's one of the lead of member lead of Institute of Good Governance and Leadership, a senior lecturer at Aglan Riskin University, London. He's also a member of the diaspora Akpakomiza movement DAM. He brings a wealth of expertise on the program. Thank you so much, Dr. Tony, for being on the program.
Yeah, good morning, Dan, and thanks for having me on your program this morning.
We appreciate you for coming. Quickly help us now. Can you share your understanding from what you just saw? The governor actually spoke about some of his vision for Edo. Can you help us share some of your understanding about his vision for Edo?
Yeah, thank you. First, let me send my hearty congratulations on behalf of the entire membership of the diaspora Akpakomiza movement spread over 56 countries of the world to His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebholo on assuming office as Executive Governor of Edo State, and same to his Deputy Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa. Congratulations to them, and congratulations to the good people of Edo State who are in for a good time. To your question, I want to say that I have listened to the 30 minutes inaugural address of Governor Monday Okpebholo, aka Akpakomiza, over and over again. And what I can unpack from that inaugural address is a speech that was very, very smart. You know, in business cycles, in economic terms, we always you will tell people that it's your objective, your goals, are they smart? Do you have smart objective? I think when you read or you listen to that 30-minute speech, you will see that it was specific, it was measurable, it was an address that the things there are achievable, they are reliable, and they were time bound. So it was very smart in that sense. So, and I think what the governor did in that speech was that he was able to itemize his 5-point agenda, you know, which he enumerated even during his campaign, you know, bordering on security, infrastructure and road development, affordable healthcare, water and food sufficiency, and value-driven education across the entire Edo State. I just want to say, maybe as we go on in this discussion, we'll begin to, you know, put some, you know, highlight on each of these 5-point agenda.
Okay, talking about his agenda, is it not too early to start with heavy project? You know, the previous administration, though we don't want to go that line, had so many lapses according to some stakeholders. But however, some are already saying with the initial step this administration is taking, it's a little bit too fast. What says you?
Yeah, it's not too early. Like we always say in local parlance, and you know this, Dan. They say now from clap and then they enter dance. You know that. So I don't think it's too early. And what I saw with the groundbreaking event for the flyover flyover at Ramat Park is strategic planning. So for a governor that took office on November 12th, and by November 18 or 19, you had bringing a massive construction company like CECC. So which means Governor Okpebholo, even before he was elected, he already had these plans. I want to just say this to our people. I know a lot of people have a lot of misgivings. A lot of people always have these fears and all that. It is often said that those who fail to plan, they are planning to fail. So the major reason why governance has always failed in our climb is the fact that we don't plan anything. So somebody is campaigning for office, it will just be campaign. Oh, it's campaign we are doing now. So there is no plan, on the board. So, but in this case, we have seen that there is already a master plan, and immediately he has hit the ground running. So I think we should applaud and, you know, uh, comment when we need to comment, and then if we have to criticize, we should also criticize objectively. But I can understand, elections have just been done. Exactly 2 months ago, we had the election in Edo State for the governorship. So a lot of people are still having a lot of, ill feeling as a result of that election. So it's normal because politics it's an emotional game. It's full of sentiment and it's full of vibes. So people are still trying to come to terms. And I believe as time goes on, by the time the governor begin to reel out his other programs for the good people of Edo State, you will see that a lot of people, more people will be won over.
Okay, talking about getting more people on board to give him a nod to go on with the good work he has already started. As a member of the diaspora Akpakomiza movement, how do you see the role of the diaspora in supporting the governor's vision?
Oh, massive, massive. In fact, when I was looking at the speech, if you look at, I have it here with me. The governor also he spoke about the diaspora as well, and for us in the diaspora, having him, talking about the diaspora, gave us a lot of impetus. So it gave us a feeling and a sense of belonging. And the Edo State diaspora, like you said, I'm a member of the diaspora Akpakomiza movement. This was a movement that Governor Monday Okpebholo set up himself even before he became governor. So we are primed, we are ready, and we are good to go. Let's not forget, people will always say, oh, you guys in the diaspora, you don't know what is going on. That is not true. We know what is going on. The world now is a global village. Okay? So just before I came to your studio now, your studio just now, we were watching your program in Benin, and then they hooked up to Lagos, and I'm talking from the UK. So what are we talking about? So for us in the diaspora, we are ready to work with His Excellency. We have the required skills, we have the expertise, we have the experience. And most of us, we are home all the time, so we know what actually happens, and we know that we have a lot to bring to the table. So that inaugural speech, he talked about collaboration with the diaspora, and we are ready and we are good to go.
Now, he's still forming his cabinet anyway. We just have like three commissioners, the commissioner of finance and that of health. and the Commissioner for Justice, they are all on board now. We have some list of SSAs finding its way to. But however, while he's still trying to put his cabinet together, let's talk about the economic transformation, which is very, very critical too. Now, how does Governor Okpebholo intend to position Edo as an economic hub in the region, particularly attracting investment that will not put the state into serious debt?
Yeah, thank you. And I must quickly chip in. The state is already into serious debt because of you know, huge outlay from the last administration. Yeah, I think during the campaigns and in our meetings with Governor Monday Okpebholo, one of the things he kept saying is that he is not a man that talks too much, that he's a workative, not talkative. So he has said, and this is what he told us in meetings we had with him and in conversations we all had with him from the diaspora, that we are going to witness practical governance. And he's not going to be a governor that is going to be sitting in the office and receiving visitors who will be paying courtesy call. Said he's going to be out there in the field, and we have already seen that already. So in terms of his economic plan and agenda, from the manifesto and his 5-point agenda, is very simple. If you look at Edo State, we are an agrarian state. So what I mean by that is that Edo State is a state, with vast arable land, agriculture, and that has been like myself speaking to you. My grandfather was a big time farmer in Huonde. So, and I used to go to my father's farm. He had a cocoa plantation. He had a rubber plantation. He was farming in food crop like yam, cassava, and other things. So I understand that, and a lot of people in our communities are still doing that. But one major challenge that we have had in Edo State recently, although this is not peculiar to Edo State, is the issue of insecurity. So,
Definitely.
and that is why number one, if you listen to that inaugural speech, the number one thing in the 5-point agenda is tackling the issue of insecurity. So, because a lot of people, cannot go to farm. Like in my place in Uwon there now, I talk to my uncles, I talk to, cousins and not friends. They can't go to farm because they will be kidnapped and all that. And then even when they are not kidnapped, when the crops mature, these herders, their cattle will just eat up everything. They eat up the plants, that are mature. So these are the things. So once that is done, you will see that food will be available and people will have food to eat. Then secondly, and this one is very, very important, is the issue of infrastructure. There have been this back and forth. I was listening to the program from Benin just now while I was in your studio, and I saw a gentleman, they were discussing this issue as well. So roads. So even if when this food are produced in the hinterland, how do they come out to the market when there are no good roads? So we've been having a lot of MOUs and road being done, and then the roads they collapse and all that. So standard road, quality road, and things not just being on paper but being actually done. That is what we have been lacking. And when this is in place, I can promise you, my brother, that there will be economic growth. So Edo, as a subnational, one of the 36 states in Nigeria, can actually grow. We can grow our GDP, we can grow our internally generated revenue, and our people will be happy. And people will really benefit, and feel the impact of governance and not just audio leadership.
Okay, now let's talking about governance and leadership. Education and youth empowerment is very, very critical in any society. With the education being a priority, how does the administration plan to equip young people with skills needed to thrive in today's competitive economy?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is my constituency, and I'm always very much at home when talking about education because I work in education. Okay, so if you look at the 5-point agenda, and which Governor Monday Okpebholo spoke about in the inaugural speech, you will see there he said value-driven education across the state. You know, I tell people, I said, Edo State, it's not just about Oredo local government, it's not just about Okpebholo local government, and it's not just about Ego local government. We have 18 local government, we have 192 wards. So people across the 18 local government and the 192 wards should benefit. So when we talk about value-driven education, what are the indices? Number one, you know, we talk of school infrastructure. You know, 2 days ago, we saw the governor. He visited Bomisi Grammar School in Ovia North, I think Northeast or so, local government. You could see the dilapidated buildings. Look, let me tell you, I attended Okpebholo Grammar School in Benin City. So that's my alma mater. And I'm a very strong member of Okpebholo Grammar School Alumni Association. As we speak, my old student association, we are raising money, you know, to renovate the admin block of that school. You know, different sets in that school, the old student association have been doing a lot. I'm not saying they should not do a lot, but the truth of the matter, if you really look at it, it's not supposed to be the role of old student association to be doing those kind of projects, but we are doing it. So if you go to a grammar school now, you will see that it's in a derelict situation. So I'm just using my own secondary school as an example. This is a well-known school in Benin City. So how much more schools in Igeduma, at Uhi, at Irwa, Uromi, Inauchi, and Okpebholo, and all these other places that are a bit far from the state capital. So school infrastructure, very important. Buildings, tables and chairs, they should be available. Science equipment, the laboratory should be there. Okay? And then you not talk about the manpower. You know, in the twilight of the Governor Obaseki administration, we were hearing some funny stories about sudden employment of 4,000 teachers. And people are like, what have we been waiting for all this while? So Governor Monday Okpebholo have said that teachers will be employed. These teachers will be trained to, you know, do the work that they are employed to do. Because, look, like I said, education is my area. It's an aspect that I'm very, very keen on. And the available data that we have, I will tell you that most schools, in fact, I have friends who are school principals. I have friends who are school principals. You know, I talk with them. Some are vice principals, some are teachers, senior teachers in secondary schools. Sometimes in a whole school, in Edo State as we speak, 3 teachers, 4 teachers, sometimes just 2. So these are some of the things that Governor Monday Okpebholo wants to correct. Teachers will be employed properly, and then these schools, these children will have teachers to teach them. In fact, one of the problems we are having in Edo State, okay, in the last 8 years is that our education just went down the hill. Yeah, we were hearing of Edo Best, we see PowerPoint and videos and all that, but it did not translate into reality. They were just, you know, things that were done on video, and they were not properly done.
Okay, talking about things now being done properly, one of the major challenge Edolites are facing currently, apart from the bad roads, we also have the issue of power. Small businesses that depends on power, they don't get it regularly. Households too, they don't even see it at all. Do you think the government is going to see how to scale up the Oshomo power plant that was initiated by the previous administration? Is it going to take it from that angle, or is it going to be, will the Oshomo plant be an abandoned project?
Yeah, thank you very much. Again, during the inaugural speech, the governor did say that a lot of our towns and adjoining villages, he would do his best to make sure they are connected to the national grid. So that is on one side. Then going to Oshomo Power Plant, you know, when that project was conceived, we all thought that, oh, we're going to have, if not 24/7 electricity in Edo State, maybe 20 hours or 18 hours. But I think there were a lot of bottlenecks, and I'm not sure that the state government actually came out, you know, to explain to Edo State people what was going on. Many in Edo State did not have access to it. So I believe that the current administration of Governor Monday Okpebholo, we look at the Osiomo Power Project, and then those bottlenecks that are there, sit down with all the stakeholders that are involved in that project to make sure that Edo State people actually benefit from that project. Remember, it's not just Osiomo Power Plant. We also have the Azura. Okay, so that one is there, and I know nationally, the federal government, I think they have been able to decentralize, the issue of power. So states can actually now generate their own power and give to their people. We saw what happened in Abia State with Governor Alex Oti. So I don't see any reason why that cannot be replicated in Edo State. So I believe, because without power, our small and medium scale enterprises, they cannot do well. They will not be able to produce optimally. So I believe this Osiomo power plant that was very well heralded, Edo State people will actually now get the benefit of it during this administration.
Okay, let's talk about governance and transparency. How does the governor intend to promote accountability, transparency, and good governance in his administration?
Yeah, thank you. When it comes to governance and transparency, the thing is all about keeping the books open and allowing due process, to take its course. In today's world, governance has been digitalized, so everybody is using IT, and I believe that some of the structures that have already been put in place, like we always say, governance is continuum. So if there are things that the previous administration of Governor Obaseki have done that are good, so this current administration will have to continue that if there are. So it's just keeping the books open, and then we, living according to our means. I'm very happy that one touchy issue with respect to Edo State governance and due process, this governor has already removed that, which is the issue of having consultancy, all over the place in Edo State. So you have consultant, and then our civil servant, they just made redundant. So you have consultant coming from Lagos and another part of Nigeria, taking charge of this project. The governor, I think immediately he came in, he has removed all those consultants. Available reports, I cannot, substantiate this. Yes, has it that a lot of resources were going to this consultant. So, and that was just a kind of, a flexing point, for our state resources. That shouldn't be. And then also the internally generated revenue, need to be popped up. I don't see any reason why we cannot, double what we currently get in internally generated revenue. And of course, that these revenues also have to be digitalized. And again, in meetings we've had with His Excellency Governor Monday Okpebholo, he has said that technology will be used in revenue collection, so that, look, my brother, if somebody is collecting revenue and you are giving him cash, there is no way the person will be tempted to just begin to spend the money. But if it goes through technology, and the thing will go seamlessly, all right? And that is what will increase transparency and then increase government internally generated revenue.
Okay, Dr. Tony, I hope we still have a lot of time to dissect some of this pressing issue, but let's quickly look at this critically. APC at the national level is still battling to fix Nigeria, and we have APC in Edo State. And of course, to an extent, the governor has said in public fora that he's going to ensure that the legacy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is sustained. He has always said that. And if you look at his administration, we have the intrigue that led to his emergence as the candidate of the party wasn't too good like that. If you remember what actually played out, where they had multiple candidates in the build-up to the election. Now, the issue of godfatherism and settling people with appointment because they actually worked for you is a concern. Some stakeholders are already saying having Senator Adams Oshomole's son as the commissioner for health. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Should we get to this level? Don't we have people who are capable of running those offices instead of getting politicians and their family members getting on board in his administration?
Yeah, thank you. That's a two-edged sword question, and I'm going to try to navigate it as seamlessly as I can. So, talking about the federal level, to be honest, there are a lot of issues with the Nigerian economy, and I think for a very long time, the Nigerian economy has been, a bubble, balloon kind of economy. And that has been so for many years since the return to democracy. So the government at the federal level, they have brought in reforms, and some of these reforms have brought a lot of hardship, to ordinary people. And the major one is the issue of the petrol fuel subsidy, which has been removed. So that is the major problem which the government is grappling with at the federal level. So experts in economic terms have said that the federal government need to do all it can to ameliorate this. The price of petrol, because people are buying petrol more than 1,000 naira per liter, is high relatively, with Nigerian standard. And any attempt for you to try to compare the price of petrol in Nigeria with Egypt, with Botswana, even with Cote d'Ivoire, our neighbors, or Ghana, people are very, very upset with that. They don't want to hear that. So I think the reason is because Nigeria, we are one of the largest crude oil producer in the world. So we expect that this is a resources that is available in our country. So we should have comparative advantage and enjoy it. So people are writing that. So I think the federal government is grappling with that, with the petrol price. So that needs to come down, because Nigeria is a kind of, it's a petrol-driven economy. So with the increase in petrol price, there has been food inflation. The prices of food and other, products in the market, items has gone up. So the government, the federal level, the government need to deal with that. And then at the federal level, the government also need to bring down the cost of governance. A lot of us have also been hammering on that. So that is with the federal. Then when it comes to our state, Edo State,
Yeah.
I think our focus should be how we can leverage on those things that are peculiar to us. You see, when you look at Edo State, tourism alone, if we get it right, okay, and I believe the current administration of Governor Monday Okpebholo will really get into this. Tourism alone will bring a lot of revenue to our state. I already mentioned agriculture previously. So all this, and then of course, let's not forget, we must mention this healthcare. So people need to be healthy, to be able to produce. So when all this put together are done, you will see that as a subnational level, people of Edo State will have a cause to sing and rejoice. So why the federal, when they are dealing with their issues, Edo State will deal with the issue. And then, very, very important, so because it is the same political party at both the federal and state level, you are going to see that there will be some level of synergy. Let me just say this, and this is the way Nigerian politics is at the moment. When you have the same political party at the state and federal level, there is some measure of symbiosis. Let me use that scientific term. So, okay. And that I believe we have Edo State, because they are in the same political party, they speak the same political language. So you get things approved. So
what about the issue? Let's talk about the issue of appointing family members.
Okay, on the appointment. Sorry, I forgot that. Yeah, on appointment, there's been this a lot of concern with appointment. And truth be said, Dan, even if you or myself will become a governor tomorrow, we will all struggle with this. There have been calls for oh, why is Oshomole's son made commissioner for health?
Hmm.
So I've looked at the resume of Siri Oshomole. I've looked at the resume. And I tried to remove Oshomole from the name of that young man. He's 44 years old. So I removed Oshomole. I just said, Mr. Dr. Siri. So I looked at him. And when you look at his qualification, is he qualified? Yes. So will people have complained as high as they did if Oshomole was not his surname? The answer will absolutely be no. So, but this is politics, and there will always be patronage and reward depending on your commitment in all this. And I think we'll just allow the young man be and see what he can do. So supposing he comes in as commissioner for health, and then we see massive transformation in our healthcare system, what will people say? So we just watch and see. But for the appointment, let me just say this. Those who were involved, those who supported the governor, it is his prerogative to make appointment for his commissioners, his special assistant, and all that. Some people eventually will be happy, some will not be happy, but governors have to go on.
Okay, talking about governance now, we're returning back to governance. He actually laid off the consultants and a whole lot of private entities who were actually helping the previous administration to clear up some projects. But public-private partnership, how important is partnership with private sector players in realizing the governor's development vision?
Yeah, very important. In fact, it is often said in business term, government really have no business, running, companies. What the practice, the global best practice is that governments all over the world, whether at national or subnational or local level, they create enabling environment. So, and that is what we expect government. Government really have no, business in running a business organization. So, the Okpebholo administration in the next 4 years, okay, will have to, work with, the private sector. So the private sectors are the major drivers of economic growth. And then the informal sector as well. Those SMEs, small and medium scale businesses. And in that inaugural speech, I must not fail to mention, the governor has stated that these SMEs, they will be provided with soft loans so that they'll be able to grow their businesses. And when that happens, there will be employment for our teeming youth. A lot of them who are currently unemployed and having nothing to do.
Okay, now let's talk about the role of civil society, which you belong to. How can civil society organizations like the Institute of Good Governance and Leadership contribute to the success of the vision?
Oh, massive contribution. Um, Civil society organization, NGOs, charity organizations, and all hands have to be on deck. We all have to, contribute our quota. And like Governor Monday Okpebholo has always said, he's very, very open to ideas. He's open to collaboration. So we are out there to support him. And we don't want to sit aloof. So we all bring our expertise, knowledge, and experience. Like I think I've said this on your program previously. God bless the soul of our, departed Reverend Father Theophilus Uwaifo, who once said, in fact, he made this quotation in 1989. I was in a program when he said it. He said, it is only Professor Joe who believes that what he does not know does not count as knowledge. No man is an island. So the governor is very, very open to suggestions and ideas that can move our state forward. So, and in the same vein, civil society organizations will also keep the government on its toes. And like I said, when we need to commend, we will commend. And when we need to criticize, we'll criticize objectively. So this PhD syndrome, I think we need to, put that aside. When I say PhD syndrome, I'm talking about pull him down. We shouldn't do that. So the government is for the whole of Edo State. Campaigns and politics is over. This is now time for governance. I think let us support the new government in our state.
Okay, talking about support the new government, just after his inauguration or the period of his inauguration, we saw how court killings returned back to Edo State. As a matter of fact, just recently, some women actually took to the street to express their displeasure over the continuous killings of young men in the state. And of course, it's not just it's not peculiar to his administration anyway. Successive administration have had to battle with it. Can the issue of cultism come to a logical conclusion under Governor Okpebholo?
Yeah, thank you. The issue of cultism has been a raging one, like you said. Is assuming a very high dimension in our state. And what is the cause? We have to deal with the cause, okay, of cultism. And it's very simple. Our society has become dysfunctional. There's a loss of moral value. There's a lot of respect for constitutional authority. A lot of our young people are idle, nothing to do. Some of them have lost faith in the system. So these are some of the causes. And then there's also the issue of, display of opulence by the political class and, the political elite. So people just want to say, oh, I want to hammer, and then we have the issue of rituals and all that, blood money and all the rest. So these are the causes of cultism. So how do we address this? It's very simple. So we need to, have education. It starts from there, because there's a lot of, people at the age of 14, 13, 15, 16, they drop out of school. So that one is there. And then we need to have employment opportunities. We often say, Dan, that the idle man's hand is the devil's tools, isn't it? Some will say the devil's workshop. So these are some of the things. So nature abhors a vacuum. So when people are idle, nothing to do, somebody can just come to them and say, oh boy, come and join our society, come and join our group. We got to guide you and all that. You will hammer, you will make it. So these are some of the problems we're having. So, but the governor, he has also said that security will be beefed up, and when there are opportunities for our young people, then this issue of cultism can be solved. Then the final one that I want to add is that the politicians as well, are also culpable, in this issue of cultism. A lot of these, you saw during the campaign, people are saying, our boys, my boys, those kind of things. So politicians are also involved. They use some of these boys for campaign. They use them as thugs, and they arm them. Okay? So these are some of the things. So politicians also need to look at themselves in the face while their children are schooling abroad, their children are in private universities in Nigeria. They are using these young people, for their own self-destruction. This should not be. So the politicians also have a role to play. They need to, curb this behavior of arming these young people.
Okay, now, as we anticipate his first 100 days in office, of course, he's already hit the ground running. Let's just hope he sustains this momentum. But let's look at the assessment of his administration. What benchmark or indicators would you suggest to evaluate the progress of Governor Okpebholo's administration in achieving his vision for Edo State?
Yeah, thank you. For me, I'm not really into this 100 days in office thing, but it's a slogan that is very common with politics in Nigeria. For me, I look at the medium and long-term, vision, of a government. He has started well. The energy is there. The desire to succeed is there. He's still constituting his team. So by the time he finishes with, having his cabinet in place, I think we'll be in a better position to begin to create benchmarks and, frameworks, and the direction that his government will go. So for now, what I just see now is building momentum, and he's putting his team together. So, but if, as the governor has promised, he focuses on that five-point agenda of security, infrastructure, road development, affordable healthcare, water and food sufficiency and value-driven education, I believe the other things, we naturally just flow in, and everything will cascade, and Edo State will be better for it.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tony, for always finding time to be on the program. One thing about you is your love for your culture. You're always appearing on Native, and it's always fine.
Thank you. I'm representing.
Definitely. Okay, that was Dr. Tony Agbons. He is a member of the Diaspora Akwakomiza movement, a senior lecturer at Agglin Riskin University, London. From Lagos, this is our package, but just before we let you go, want to give you our parting words for today. Be happy with who you are. Being happy doesn't mean everything is perfect, but that you have decided to look beyond the imperfections. That is our parting shot from our Lagos studio. My name is Daniel Praise Osedebame.